Hello, Mary Meet. So this is my first video uh, with my new laptop. My old one was old and it didn't work very well anymore, so I had to get another one. So this is a new webcam, so I really hope this video will turn out alright. So far, let me just adjust here. So far, I tested the camera out a little bit, and it seems to be handling movements better than the old one. But at the same time, I think the colors are a bit more washed out. Anyway, it's what it is. So what I was going to discuss today is basically evil. Yeah, because I've heard this term tossed about so much, and especially by religious people who want to force their opinions on others. That doing this is evil, doing that is evil. And I've come to the conclusion that I really don't like the term evil. And here's why. Because evil has in many ways become a blanket way to say, I don't like you. I can do whatever I want to you because you're evil. And it's a very, very misunderstood term. Uh, I mean, even the word evil, we can trace it back to Germany and to basically we can trace the origins of the word. But even then, nobody knows what the word originally meant. And if you ask people from different faiths, different groups, what can you define evil? If you can, and I mean, even if you sit down and ask someone, what is evil? Tell me what's evil. Very often, unless they have a religion that tells them straight out, this is what evil is, they can't give a definition of evil, and still it is tossed about. And by that I mean, take for example the war in Afghanistan and Iraq. A lot of people agree with it because they, oh, but it doesn't matter that people get slaughtered left and right because they're evil people. The evil people, most of them are farmers. There's there's so many civilians killed, and even those that were against the United States, evil. I mean, they didn't sit down and think, oh, we are gonna do our evil things. No, no, they people who had their fanatical views, and I'm not saying that I support them in any way. Of course, you have to defend yourself against people who want to do bad things to you, but when you define them as evil, you dehumanize them. And I see this everywhere, even in things like, for example, gay marriage. I mean, there was newspaper article on an online newspaper that I read yesterday. And it was about a Norwegian celebrity, and usually I don't read those, I don't really care, but she's a lesbian, and she had just married with her girlfriend. And so I opened the link and had a look. And there was a commentator there from the United States who went, oh no, this is evil. They are evil because in his definition of good was the traditional core family with a mother, a father, and children. So clearly, since they diverged from that, they were evil. And really, how? And that's the problem when people define evil not as a thing of its own, but as something that diverges from what they believe. All that, and at the same time, you have this idea of fighting evil, which makes this a very dangerous idea. So that when a person has the idea that core family is good, having basically a mother and father and children, that is good. Therefore, anything that's not that has to be evil. And this is what you see again and again and again. It's the idea that, okay, our religion is good, so anyone who practices any other kind of religion must be evil. And I feel that is a very limiting idea. Now, I think it's much easier to define good. I mean, if you ask a lot of people what's good, they will usually have a reply for you. If you ask them what is evil, very often they don't. For example, if you were to ask me what's good, I would say good is being kind. It is helping others when you can, while at the same time looking out for yourself so that you are not left in the dust. Good is developing yourself to the best of your ability. Good is being tolerant and wishing the best for others. These things I would say is good. There's of course more to it, but unless I want to make this video a million years long. But generally, evil, I can't really give you a definition. I can point out things I think is bad. I think, for example, the kind of intolerance this guy on the comments bill presented is bad. I think it's wrong. I think that uh, basically calling somebody evil, calling them bad, saying they have low morality because they are in love and they're harming absolutely no one is wrong. But evil, no. And you see the same in the debate about, for example, some people have caught on that Norway has a very, very different way we handle prisons than the United States. Our prisons are rehabilitation centers, basically. You have schooling, you have activities, you have all of these things. Prisoners are treated with respect. And a lot of people, even within Norway, is against this. They say, but this isn't punishment. Because these people are evil, they need to be punished. But then again, look at the results. These people, I mean, most criminals in Norway that get jailed and then get let free, they don't do crime again. I mean, we have one of the lowest uh, rates in the world when it comes to repeat criminals. So obviously, the approach is working, and obviously, the approach that is in the United States of treating them as animals does not work. But still, people have this idea, but they're criminals, they're evil, they need to be punished because you have this idea was that we should fight evil, and yet, if you listen to the story of most of these people, while it doesn't in any way excuse what they have done, they're human beings. They're human beings with human frailties. And helping them become better people, helping them deal with the issues that made them into criminals in the first place, it's much more effective than labeling them evil and then treating them badly. And I think that the problem is that we get this into our heads from we are very young. You have good and evil. And in societies that are based around Christian morality, like most Western nations are, we have this idea of two opposing forces, good, evil. And if and basically they're at war. And as such we get, for example, in comics books, it's less nowadays, but in earlier ones and those that I consider are made for smaller children, you have these that the villains very often have no motivations beyond evil. I mean, I watched an episode of, I think it was Justice League, the Catwoman say, oh, and we're gonna do it for our evil purposes. I mean, nobody does that. Well, I guess it could be someone, but generally no. People don't think what I do is evil. They have reasons and goals for their behaviors. So, yeah. Now, we also you sometimes get this when we talk about, for example, yin and yang, and people say, but that says that the feminine is evil. No, it doesn't. It because within that system you don't have that, and you have a lot of things within, for example, Wicca and other forms of new paganism is based around this. It's based around, yes, there are opposing forces, but one cannot exist without the other. Therefore, you have a lot of people as well, but dark witchcraft, oh, it has to be evil, it has to be evil, right? No, because um, most neo-pagan faith doesn't have this idea of good, evil. It's more floating concepts, and that is why most witches actually protest when people say black magic, white magic, because that add to that polarization. It's like I told a woman I talked about talked with a few days ago, and she said, "But black magic, white magic, no, it isn't black magic and white magic. It's like you can use a hammer to build a house. Use a hammer to bludgeon somebody to death. You don't call it a good hammer or a bad hammer. It's just a hammer. Some it's just magic." And that is the concept within witchcraft as well. You have basically uh, within a nature religion, you have to accept that there are darker sides to nature. I mean, take the ocean. It is beautiful. It can give untold joy in the summer when you can swim around and you can sit on the beach with your lover, and it gives a lot of food and healthy things, fish. There's so much great with the ocean. You can travel on it to faraway places. You can also drown. It can have terrible storms that will just obliterate ships. You can swim around, be eaten by a shark, and sometimes it will even throw tremendous forces into play, and you will have tsunamis and that kinds of things. Doesn't mean that one side of the ocean is evil and the other side of the ocean is good. Just the ocean. It's just these forces of nature. And I mean, it's the same with the forest. It's beautiful. You can find food in there. It's idyllic. You can walk there. You can play there. There's so many great things. You can also get lost and fall and basically you can freeze to death out there. And you can get attacked by a wild animal. There's these ideas of light and darkness in everything. Without that means that you should label one thing as good and the other thing as evil. And I think that as long as this mentality is still such a big part of our collective minds, the good versus evil, black, white, these kinds of things, then there will never be really tolerance. Because then we will have this idea that anything that's different from what we find as good has to be evil. Because we don't really have a definition of evil. I mean, some, for example, Christians have the idea that evil is anything that the Bible say is not good. But really, other than direct religious ideas like that, there isn't any definition of good and evil that is recognized around the world. And I mean, one person I talked about with this said, if you don't label, for example, child rapists as evil, you support them. No, absolutely not. Not labeling something as evil doesn't mean you say it's good. Because then we are back to that black, white, good, evil. I don't think like that. I don't think there is two boxes. And if you don't put it in the evil box, it has to go in the good box. No, of course I don't support it. It's terrible. It's not something I would want in a society I am living in. Doesn't mean it is evil, because that is very much a very easy way out of it. It's very easy to label things as evil, then you don't have to think about it. And unfortunately, with that thought process, a lot of people get hurt by it because they get labeled as evil. People that have never done anything wrong. And it also makes sure that you have people that think that, oh, any criminal should just be shot. I mean, no matter what I do, criminals are evil. You can do whatever you want with them. Or anyone who isn't of my religion are evil, so it doesn't matter what I say. Or I think tin is good, therefore hats must be evil. So it doesn't matter how much I hurt people. You get this idea that with a very polarized world. And I'm saying that you don't have to have that. It's like people think that if you don't have that polarized idea of reality, then you don't have morality. No, it just means that if you're gonna have a morality that isn't based around these things, you have to more make up your idea for yourself, what you think is good and what you think is undesirable. And this can be floating concept. It doesn't have to be this box, this box. So yeah, hope you have enjoyed my video. It's definitely a topic I would love to debate. Have a great day. Blessed be.